Fires right side. It'll be caught by May. First down.
Great
inside
reach.
the Kenyon 45. He's taken down at the 44. It is going to be a pickup of 4 yards. Another Wittenberg first down. So the Tigers' defense comes out and gets that 3-and-out that you talked about. And now Wittenberg's offense converts on a third down. Coach, it is as if they heard your pregame keys to victory, and now they're executing.
And I'm sure that had nothing to do with it, but that's a great call. But I did notice already Wittenberg doing a nice job of getting people in space.
Melton's going to throw deep for May, down around the 10-yard line, broken up. That ball hung in the air just a bit too long. It allowed Kendall Weaver on coverage to recover and knock it away from May. And it'll be 2nd down and 10. Not a bad spot to take a shot on a home run there.
I think that's a good call by Coach Collins. I think after a first down like that is a great time to look for a shot. And they actually he had some room. The ball held up a little bit, and Kenyon was able to get a hand on it.
It is a 3-receiver look here with 2 backs. The give will go to Gross, trying to stretch it out to the left side. He'll cut it back near the sideline, does pick up positive yardage, and tiptoes out of bounds, actually at the 41. On that far sideline, it looked like he had gotten inside the 40, but apparently stepped out after just a gain of 3. So it'll be 3rd down and 7. We saw the Tigers convert on a 3rd and 4. Now a 3rd and a bit longer for Jim Collins' team with 10:33 to play in the first.
And this could be 2-down territory for them where they're at on the field. So we'll see what happens.
Milton steps up in the pocket, lets it fly, all kinds of pushing and pulling in coverage. It'll fall incomplete. Malik Bowie was the target, but as he made his cut, it looked like Kendall Weaver had a fistful or 2 maybe of Bowie's jersey. No flags. It'll bring up 4th and 7, and Wittenberg will send the punt team out.
Yeah, and it was interesting, but both times they've caught Kenyon in one-on-one coverage, which is everything they want. But again, maybe, those were long passes. Maybe they held up just a little bit. But Wittenberg will punt it away and look for good field position.
Hayden Alcott is the Tiger punter, does get the kick away, and it's a beauty down around the goal line. It'll be caught at the 1. And so the Tigers are able to down it just inside the 1-yard line. Lucas Swearick, I think, was the guy that caught that. Number 12, a great punt by the sophomore, Hayden Alcott. A lot of hang time, allowed his gunners to get down there and down that ball. So the nose of the football will be right at Kenyon's own 1-yard line.
Yeah, this is a time where if you're Wittenberg, you may want to pin your ears back and try to get a 2. We'll see what happens.
Wendorf takes the snap and just leans forward, trying to gain a little bit of real estate in the shadow of his own goalpost. A whole bunch of Wittenberg Tigers able to stand him up before the whistles blow. No gain, actually. 2nd down and 10. Ball still at the 1.
It's interesting, the great coaches that have been here at Wittenberg, the Edwards, the Mowers, the Finchams. It's interesting because one of the things they talked about was field position. And you even Trussell and Urban Meyer, all those guys talk about it. This is one of those situations where Wittenberg, that was a run, a short gain.
Yeah, that was Jordan Benjamin. He does get 3 yards out to the 4. Here comes 3rd and 7.
But it's so important to field position is just everything. And a lot of great coaches and great teams have really, really been positive about that. And they'll take field position many times, punt the ball in situations in fact, Woody Hayes would actually punt on 3rd down and just drive people nuts. But this is an important down right here, 3rd and about 7.
3rd and 7 from Kenyon's own 4. Field position definitely tilted against the Owls early on here. Wendorf will roll left, looking to throw, being pressured. He'll fire it to nobody. It's incomplete. He was just throwing it away, but the head linesman says there was a receiver close enough. Charlie Taylor was about 7 yards away as Wendorf just let it fly. He was about 8 yards back in the end zone and almost took the safety. So the Owls will punt as they send out Miller again. The freshman kicker will have his heels almost on the end line down there in the back of the end zone, and Tyler May stands at the Kenyon 40 waiting on this kick. Does get it away, wobbly kick, bounces at the 35, takes a Kenyon hop, and now rolls out across the 45. It'll be down at the 47, so that's a 43-yard punt. So the Tigers drove it into Kenyon territory. The drive stalled. They played field position, got a great kick, and now they'll be able to almost pick up where they left off in drive 2.
Yeah, and, we didn't talk at all about the defensive end that made a great play, Dylan Wright. He came in from his right side, almost got to the quarterback. That's what forced the quick throw. Again, some of these younger guys are getting chances to show what they've got. And Wittenberg has some younger players that are coming up. Of course, Kenyon, almost all are freshmen and sophomores.
8:45 to go, opening quarter. And Milton will work from the gun back to his right. It's Gross. He'll spin it out into the flats. It is caught by Dean Tate. Tate's going to be stood up, hit, and then pushed back. No gain. And the line of scrimmage stays the Kenyon 47. The Owls defense read that play well.
Great coverage that time by Kenyon. A big hit initially, and then the second swarm and third swarm got to him. But tremendous job by the purple and white.
2 receivers left, 1 to the right, and the Owls with a 4-man front here. It'll play action. Milton throws left. It'll be caught on the screen. Tate's able to make 1-man miss. There's a wide receiver screen out there that Tate was able to juke the defender, and he gets to the 43. That play was almost blown up for a loss. It turns into a gain of 4.
Yeah, you really like, if you're out in the flat like that, to stick that leg down and then explode. And he did that and almost broke through the second layer. He would have had a lot of daylight.
Big third down here, 3rd and 6. Milton looking. He's going to dump it off on the underneath screen for Reed Hall. He's got daylight inside the 35 to the 30, and he's going to be taken down at the Kenyon 28. This will be 15 yards, just dumping that ball off to Reed Hall, and he had blockers out in front. Big gainer for the Wittenberg offense and a fresh set of downs.
Yeah, Milton, they had everybody spread, and they spread that Kenyon defense, and then the middle wide open, and a great pass to get the first down.
Milton gives to Gross up the middle, shakes free of a man. He's inside the 20, to the 10, to the 5, carrying defenders with him. He will score. 28 yards to the house, Garrett Gross. And the senior tailback scores the first touchdown of the Wittenberg home season here at Edwards Maurer Field as they grab a 6-0 lead with 7:01 to play in the first.
Yeah, Gross, the senior from Bellefontaine, just got a great block on the left side. And again, they had spread him out again, and they've seen something now a couple times. And once he got through that first layer, he just absolutely stayed right there and finished strong.
The PAT is up and good. That is Brandon Goodwin, the senior, converting from placement. And it takes till drive number 2 this time around, but the result is a Wittenberg touchdown and a 7-0 lead as Garrett Gross finds pay dirt for the second time in as many games. And we talk about Bryce Anderson being tough to tackle. So is Gross. As we saw it there, just past the line of scrimmage, he was able to shake free of a tackler. And then as he got inside the 5, he had a couple of Owls defenders hanging on him, and his momentum took him right into the end zone.
Yeah, you just like the physicality of his play, and, of course, the line. That's a confidence boost for this line, and that's the hope that Coach Collins has for his Wittenberg team, is to really develop that positive attitude and have that mentality that every time they get the football, they can score. 2 weeks ago in their first game, their first score was an 85-yard drive. So this one was, about 55? And, again, the Tigers doing a super job. You want to get those long drives, and that's what Wittenberg just did.
Quick strikes are good, too, but you'll take a long, sustained drive. Now, they took advantage of the short field, and, of course, that was set up by the excellent punt from Hayden Alcott on the previous possession.
Good
Kickoff
pass.
here goes into the end zone, 25-yard line. Kenyon brings it out. I will say we are almost 8 minutes into this game, Coach, and so far you and I are perfect. We have not referred to Kenyon as the Lords, their previous nickname.
You know, I thought about it tonight. I really thought.
I practiced all day.
Did you? Because I really wondered. They're called the what?
The Owls.
The Owls.
Come on now.
That's different. Yeah, that's definitely different.
Wendorf will get the shotgun snap, throws to the middle of the field. It's broken up at the 28-yard line. Good coverage by the Tigers' Ashton Snell as he was there to break it up. It was Livingston who was the intended target. And it'll be 2nd down and 10. That was Christian Sweet on coverage. Have Sweet listed as a wide receiver still on the roster, but of course the Tigers have a lot of duplicate numbers.
Right, and they're spreading their linebackers out. This time they brought.
Yep, they're going to go right up the middle on the handoff to Lewis. He'll be out to the 32-yard line. That's going to be 7 yards on the carry. So it brings up a 3rd and manageable for the Kenyon offense, 3rd and 3.
That's the best run that Kenyon's had. They ran off the left side, a couple of big fellas there for Kenyon. And then this is a situation, again, like we talked about, Scott, where you really want to put pressure on this quarterback. Looks like it would be a time, maybe a short pass or even hand it off. But Wittenberg's got to be very much aware of them taking a shot, too.
3rd and 4. They'll hand it off, and this is a 1st down carry for Lewis, right up the gut across the 35. And the junior running back will get to the 39. So a 7-yard pickup, back-to-back 7-yard runs staying between the tackles for Kenyon. And as we go under 6 minutes left to play in the first, the Owls have a fresh set of downs working towards that north end zone here on the Wittenberg campus.
Yeah, and Drake Lewis is the junior. Of course, Jordan Benjamin is a freshman. But interesting, a lot of different players from all over the country. Lewis from Washington, D.C.
Tigers with a 4-man front again. Wendorf turns, hands it off. Lewis, and again, straight up the middle. Drake Lewis. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And so the Owls stick with that rushing attack with Lewis going up the middle, and he will pick up 7 yards again.
Again, good push up front, and right now Kenyon's big men are just leaning. That's one of the things that they always talk about. Just keep leaning in and keep giving your running backs chances. And at this point, you've got to really step up as a Tiger because it's a critical place on the field. Do not want to give this Kenyon team a 1st down.
Wendorf hands it off, and this time Jordan Benjamin gets a chance, and he's going to pick up the 1st down. He will get near the midfield stripe. They needed the 49, their own 49, and that's exactly where they'll spot the football. The Tigers up front have a lot of depth. They'll typically play a 4-man front. Could see 6, 7, 8 different guys running in there at those spots, but the ones that start across the Tiger defensive front are awfully good. Nick Wadsworth, the junior. Nathan Pratt, a senior, at a tackle spot. Connor Walls at the other end position. Wendorf gives to Benjamin. A little cutback in the backfield, and that'll be good enough to get into Wittenberg territory. He'll get to the Tiger 46, a gain of 5. And so right now the Lords getting it done with the ground attack.
The Owls.
There you go. I told you. We were perfect at the 8-minute mark.
See, you started to brag. Interesting, though, they have ran the ball.
I'm keeping track. That's 1, by the way. Go ahead.
They ran the ball to the left. Chris Zazer and Nate Stewart, both seniors for Kenyon, doing a nice job. And they've found a rhythm right now with the running back.
Give goes again to Benjamin. He's going to be bottled up this time, able to
big stop.
Shed a blocker. It was Connor Walls, and Tigers would really like to see him get rolling again here today. A big week 1, the senior, 6'3", 230. Walls wears number 99. And he's got Wadsworth accompanying him up on that front defensive line. The Tigers at the linebacker spots, we mentioned Mario Guital, the junior, Cam Snur, a junior, Dane Flatter, a senior, rounding out the linebacking core. 3rd down and 4 from the 45. And Wendorf will fire over the middle. It's caught, and then a big hit applied. It's caught for a 1st down, but Anthony Pedro drops the hammer on the Kenyon receiver. That was Livingston. The senior Livingston caught it, and then Anthony Pedro introduced himself. Big hit, 1st down Kenyon.
Yeah, Pedro is a hitter. He had 11 tackles in his game against Dubuque, and he's a guy, if he gets a little bit of room on you and he can get that motor started, he can put it on you.
2:42,
right,
sorry, Coach, 2:42 to go in the first, and there's the handoff again to Lewis up the middle inside the 35, down to the Tigers' 34. So that is a 5-yard pickup. It'll bring up 2nd down and 10.
And we talk about drives usually with Wittenberg, but this Kenyon Owl team has really been able to develop a nice rhythm offensively.
Yep.
And not only, are they getting it to the running backs and getting some good blocking, but they're running clock. And that's another thing. If you come into a game where, you're considered a team that might have a really difficult time, if you can hold on to the ball, that's a positive.
Give goes to Lewis. He's got the 1st down and then some. He'll be hit, stood up, and then dropped at the 24. But a 10-yard run for Drake Lewis. And so the Kenyon Owls, Coach, may be exposing something here, the ability to run the ball between the tackles against this Tiger front 7.
Yeah, clearly, especially like I said, on that left side, big number 62 and Chris Zeiser, big number 78, along with the center Cole Carroll. They're all seniors, so they've got some rapport up front.
Wendorf gets that shotgun snap. He'll pitch it out to the right. Trying to stiff arm a man was Benjamin, but he's going to be stopped. Trying to get into the flats there and make something happen was Jordan Benjamin, but it was the Tigers' Dane Flatter, the outside linebacker there, Mario Gital, and it'll bring up a 2nd down and 10.
Showed you the speed of Wittenberg on the outside, the ability to keep that ball from getting around the edge. And, again, Kenyon goes to something different, but, the gold right now is going straight ahead, using those big blockers.
And on 2nd and 10, again, back to the ground, and nothing doing here on the give to Benjamin. Tigers coming off of a 5-5 campaign a year ago, picked to finish 5th in the North Coast Athletic Conference, but the members of this football program feel like their upside is much, much higher than that. And a 28-27 win in Week 1 on the road against Dubuque has given this Tigers team a shot in the arm. They did it with defense. They did it with special teams. And right now, special teams has had an impact on this game. Let's see if the defense can get a stop. It's 3rd down and 10 from the Tigers' 24. Let's see if they get one more snap before the final seconds of the first quarter. They will. Wendorf was going to throw deep down the right side towards the end zone. It's incomplete. Here comes a flag for pass interference. Into the end zone. Wendorf let that one fly.
A late flag.
Yeah, on coverage for the Tigers was Darian Williams.
Was it catchable? That's going to be the question they're going to ask.
Wendorf was trying to get that ball to Dylan Carlquist, the sophomore, 5'10" receiver. Pass interference against the Tigers. So they'll mark it off. It'll be 1st down Kenyon when we go to quarter number 2. 15 minutes of football in the books here in Springfield. And on the Tiger Sports Network, it's Wittenberg 7 and Kenyon nothing. Alongside the coach, Jim Scobie, Scott Leo with you here in Springfield. Wittenberg leads Kenyon 7-0, but the Owls have it first and goal from the Tigers' 9-yard line. A pass interference call sets up this first and goal. And actually, it'll be Park Penrod at the quarterback spot for Kenyon, and he's going to hand it off. This will be Benjamin, who bounces it out to the left and then goes down. Kenyon trying to use that rushing attack to their advantage in this drive. And Coach Scobie, they've really done a nice job of moving the ball on the ground. Sometimes it gets a little tougher when you get inside the red zone. You've got less real estate to work with, and the Tigers can pinch in a little more against the run. They do it right there, and it's a no gain, second down.
And I think, too, Scott, is the fact that whenever they have forced Kenyon to go side to side with their running game, and get that support from their corners and their linebackers, Kenyon's had trouble. It's the north-south, south-north run, this one here.
And a handoff from Penrod to Benjamin, and Benjamin's going to be stopped right at the line of scrimmage.
Great D.
Tigers were waiting on him. Cam Snurr makes the stop for the Tigers. It'll bring up third down and goal. Now, Park Penrod, the junior quarterback, 6'2", 210 pounds, looks towards the far sideline to get the play call as we go under 14 minutes to play in the half. Wittenberg has the only points, and it came on their second drive of the game, taking advantage of the short field.
Excuse me, Scotty. Cam Snurr had 4 solo tackles the other game.
Penrod rolling right, pressured, throws, and it's going to be dropped. Almost intercepted. It was right in the hands of the Tigers' Christian Sweet. He couldn't hold on. Sweet, the senior safety, had that ball bouncing off of his fingertips on his right hand, and it hits the turf before he could get a grasp on it. So Kenyon sends out the kicking team. And this will be, I believe, Tyler Bell. It will be the left-footed kicker, Bell, the freshman. This will be a 26-yarder from that left hash mark to try and get Kenyon on the board. Kick is away, has the distance, and it is good. And so the Owls answer back after a Wittenberg touchdown. They go down and get 3. Last year when these teams played, it was a high-scoring affair. 79 points total between the two, as Wittenberg won at Kenyon, 51-28. But a 26-yard field goal here from Bell means it's 7-3. Elsewhere around the North Coast Athletic Conference, week number 3 of the D3 football season, but game number 2 for a lot of teams. And Denison rolls to a 70-0 win over Oberlin today, while DePaul handled Hiram 49-0. Tonight, this is one of 3 games involving NCAC teams. One of those is a conference game, and that's Worcester and Ohio Wesleyan. They're kicking off in about 30 minutes. Wabash is playing Butler. Tigers had a couple of games against the Butler Bulldogs not too long ago. Butler has a 7-0 lead late in the first quarter against Wabash. Kickoff is taken inside the 10-yard line, and on the return, staying on his feet out across the 40. Here comes a flag. Flag comes in as the tackle is made out near the 45.
And they've got a Kenyon player on the field that was hurt. But a terrific run.
Yeah.
I mean,
it was Cleve Benson on the return.
Real clean. Just a clean run and until the end there. But
so we'll see what the flag is all about here. It's a hold against the Tigers.
Gee whiz.
So a hold on the return, 10 yards from the spot of the holding. And so the Wittenberg offense will be pushed back a little bit. They're going to start at their own 23.
Beautiful night for football. This is that Ohio weather that you just love. You'd like to have hang around for about 2 months.
Can say that again. 3 receivers set, 2 to the left. Milton. He will throw left side, but nobody was looking. Ball falls incomplete. I'm not sure where the confusion was there. Dean Tate was working off of essentially a pick from Malik Bowie. Now, can't technically be a pick, but trying to.
And that was Jackson Belwin. He had 2 interceptions last week. He's probably one of the best players on the defense, so he is always looking for an opportunity to steal it. But it seems like that play, they ran it a couple times, it worked. The last few times throwing that out into the flat with maybe 1 or 2 blockers just hasn't been there.
Milton's going to throw deep down the field. This is almost intercepted. It was intended for Tate, but jumping the route there and almost picking it off was Jackson McCullough, the freshman.
And McCullough did a really nice job of hanging with the Tiger receiver and just, was stride for stride and then stepped in at the right time to knock it away. But there was a feel when you saw that ball coming in. I had a feel that maybe Wittenberg would really light things up on that. That would have been a long touchdown.
3rd down and 10, bad snap, and Milton will have to dive on it back near his own 10-yard line. So on a 3rd down and 10, the Tigers snap it over the head of the quarterback, Milton. And it will be a loss of 11 yards. So here comes the punt team.
And again, the frustrating part is this whole possession started with a hold, on the kick return. They had a great kick return, and they've just had some flops here.
Yep. Hayden Alcott kicks it away from his own 2-yard line. It's going to take a Wittenberg bounce out at the 45, go across midfield. Tigers will down it at the Kenyon 46. But good starting field position for the Owls, and they get the football back down just 7-3. Here in the home opener in Springfield, night game. Tigers used to host community night for the home opener and play under the lights for that first home game. And
many hot dogs and beans.
Yep.
That was the thing.
It's always a fun September opener.
Used to have to keep you and Marty Bannister off those beans.
Well,
because it was not fun to go on away trips with you guys after community night.
Jordan Benjamin on the carry, gets back to the line of scrimmage, maybe a gain of 1. It'll bring up 2nd down and 9. Tigers this year have a different looking schedule with Allegheny leaving the conference. You get a second non-league game, and that'll be next week against Alma right here at home. Some big games ahead, though, in September and especially in October as Wittenberg tries to vie for an NCAC title in 2023. Give to Benjamin across midfield to the Tiger 48. A gain of 5 yards on a little cutback behind the left guard and tackle. So here comes a big 3rd down for Kenyon.
Again, they went back to the butter. They got it to Benjamin. He went right up the middle on the left side. Have you ever been to Alma?
Yes. In fact, my first trip there ever was in 2001, days after the September 11th attacks.
Oh, my. Was that with Wittenberg?
Yeah. 3rd down and 4. And give to
stick.
Benjamin. He's going to be hit right there after a gain of 1. Stopped at the Tiger 47. And it'll bring up 4th down. Decision time for Ian Good and this Kenyon Owls offense. Do they play for it this early in the game?
Looks like they're going to.
Offense is still on the field with 10:45 and counting to play in the second quarter. 4th down and 3 from the Tiger 47. And from the shotgun, it'll be a punt.
Quick punt.
Yep, they snapped it back to Penrod, and he boots it. And it's a good kick. It's actually going to roll to a stop or close to it down around the 5-yard line where it'll be downed. And it forces the Tigers to start deep in their own territory. With 10:25 to go here in the first. Yeah, that trip to Alma, that's one you don't really forget. As a matter of fact,
you wouldn't forget that.
We were sitting out here on Bill Edwards Drive, and the buses were full. Players were on the buses. Coaches were on the buses. Marty Bannister and I were behind the buses in our vehicle, and the auxiliary personnel kind of hanging around. And we were waiting to find out if the game was going to be played the next day because the attacks had happened on a Tuesday, I believe, and so we were set to leave on Friday, but a lot of games had been canceled for that weekend. Garrett Gross gets the carry, goes around the left end, and the senior Gross is all the way out to the 19-yard line. That's a 13-yard pickup for Garrett Gross, and the Tigers move the sticks. And Joe Fincham was the head coach, was on his cell phone, and everybody was waiting around, talking to the folks up at Alma, talking to the administration here at Wittenberg, trying to make sure that if the buses took off and went to Michigan, that there was going to be a football game played. Gross on another carry, big hole across the 35, and he's out to the 38. That'll be 19 yards on that carry for Gross. 2 nice runs from Garrett, and the Tigers are in business here with 9:53 left in the half.
One thing you like about Gross, and there are a lot of things you can like, but his speed, he's really quick. And if he gets an opening, he'll squeeze through it and get some extra yards that most people can't.
On this carry to the 41 goes Gross, a pickup of 3. It'll be 2nd down and 7.
Well, while the defense was over here on the side during that last possession by Kenyon, Jim Collins called his team over the offense, and you could tell he was fired up. He was not happy with the way anytime you fumble the ball or you do something,
Bryce Anderson on the carry. He's going to get near the first down, and then a late flag comes in from the side judge behind the play. It's going to be a face mask against Kenyon.
Good call.
So this will get tacked on to the end of the run, and Wittenberg will be in Owls territory here. Personal foul face mask. It's Sam Finnerty, the freshman linebacker, who apparently grabbed Anderson's cage there, trying to make the tackle.
Well, Scott, that was interesting. I started calling you Marty. But there's a score right now, South Florida and Alabama, third quarter, 3-3.
Movement up front here. The Owls came across the line. We're going to get offsides and a free 5 yards as the Tigers will look at a 1st and 5. I think that the Alabama Crimson Tide are still a little kind of sleepwalking after that loss to Texas. Is that what you're telling me?
But they've got a new quarterback. They've got new players. He just absolutely said, I'm starting over kind of. So we'll see what happens. But, I mean, they had a chance even with all that loss to move on and make it to the playoffs. But if they lose today, it would be really tough.
Anderson carries for 2 yards to the 30. It'll be 2nd and 3 coming up for the Tigers.
Fourth quarter, 4:38 to go. Actually, third quarter, 4:38 to go. Ohio State 49, Western Kentucky 10.
Melton hands to Anderson up the middle, all kinds of room to the 20. Cuts at the 15, he's to the 10, and he'll be spun down at the Kenyon 6-yard line. 24 yards for Bryce Anderson, and the Tigers have 1st and goal.
Bryce Anderson, again, some blocking on the left side, and you just want that offensive line, those trenches, to keep pushing them back.
Melton gives to Anderson. He's going to be hit, and he's going to be dropped for a loss back at the 6.
By number 32,
it'll be a 2nd down. Andy Canocio on the stop for Kenyon with 7:38 left to play here in the second quarter. Wittenberg 7, Kenyon 3, NCAC opener. And the home opener as well for the Tigers. Melton will hand it off. Going around that left side is Dean Tate, and he's going to be stood up and thrown down near the 5. Let's see if they give him the 4 on progress. Forward progress puts him at the 4. And that was Dominic Simpson who had the big tackle for Kenyon.
Yeah, he lifted him off the ground like a wrestler and threw him down.
3rd and goal from the 4, and the ball will be on the left hash mark as Max Melton looks to the near sideline. Jim Collins signaling in the plays. Clock still running, 6:40 left until half. Melton takes the handoff and throws over the middle and wide open, sliding and making the catches, Dean Tate for a Tiger touchdown. From 4 yards away, Melton to Tate, and the Tigers now lead 13-3.
It was a great call by Wittenberg. They had set up so that they would maybe go to a corner throw in the end zone, and both the corner and the safety went with that particular player, and he came across wide open.
Here's the PAT. It is up, and it is good. So 2 for 2 is Brandon Goodwin. Max Melton throws his 2nd touchdown of the season, and the Tigers extend the lead. Bryce Anderson had the receiving touchdown in week 1. This time it's Dean Tate. And so as Wittenberg extends the lead to 11. They do so on a drive, Coach, where they got that power running game going. It was Garrett Gross who had a couple of big runs early in the drive in Wittenberg's own territory, and that kind of set things in motion as the Tigers put together a scoring drive, and they find the end zone for the 2nd time today.
You know, Scott, I reflect back again prior to this possession by them. Collins took the team over, and he really kind of let them know, did some good old preaching, and they came out in this particular drive, and they played with some physicality, and that
kick is away and it's loose. That's a live ball. It comes off the leg of the Kenyon return man, and the Tigers will grab it and return it. That is Bryce Call, I think, who grabbed that ball.
It was almost like the receiver got it, and it bounced off his leg, and it was like he punted it. It, like, went up in the air.
Yeah, it looked like it bounced off his knee or his shin and kicked right back towards the Tigers' kick coverage team as they were in pursuit. Now, they're going to mark the ball because it can't be returned from the spot it was picked up, so the 43-yard line.
But what's crazy is I think it surprised everybody that was coming down on the punt defensively, because some guys, it surprised them to the point that they didn't even know whether to catch it or they were diving, on the turf.
Yeah, that ball cannot be advanced on the recovery, right. But Wittenberg will get it at the 43. So a chance here now for a quick strike. Let's see if they take a shot deep.
They'll try.
Milton's going to fire it out to the right sideline. It'll be caught, and that's going to be a pickup of close to 10 yards as they go to the air and find the senior Tyler May.
Just a down and out, little comebacker. May looked like he might go for a post pattern, but he came back to it, a gain of 10, and they'll move the chains.
Handoff for Gross. He'll carry to the 29. Garrett Gross, a pickup of 4. These new timing rules in college football have sped the game up. They've taken some of the
I like it.
Taken some plays off the table. They've taken some possessions away from offenses, which inherently should make games closer, because even if you have a mismatch, there's just not as many possessions for a blowout, maybe like you would have seen in past years.
Sure.
So that's where turnovers and special teams are going to make a big difference as well in these games, because Wittenberg, only up 14-3, gets that turnover on the kickoff, and now they have a chance to punch in another one here late in the second quarter. Referee was signaling to start that clock, and that's what got me thinking about the new timing rules this year. Here's the handoff to Gross. He's going to leap at the 15, try to go over the defender. He's going to go down near the 10. 13-yard carry, Garrett Gross, and Wittenberg is rolling downhill now.
That ought to be on a highlight right there.
Well, there's a flag down. Offsides Kenyon. That will be declined.
If there's a highlight film of this year, that ought to be right in there. That was an acrobatic play.
Give goes to Anderson. Makes a man miss behind the line of scrimmage. Still on his feet. Inside the 10 to the 5. Spins and goes down to the 4. Anderson making something out of nothing. It looked like he was going to lose a couple of yards. Instead, he gained 6. And it brings up 2nd and goal.
Yeah, he gave that, Max Milton gave that off, and they picked up, some yards, 6 yards. But I think if Milton would have taken it and he had a decision, if he'd have kept it, he might have scored.
Milton has Anderson to his left and hands it to him. Bryce down to the 3. A gain of a yard. Actually, the 4 is where they'll mark him, so maybe half yard or so is what he picks up, but it'll be 3rd and goal. Clock's still running. We're down to 4:14 left to play.
The last time they were here, they kind of ran off of each other on the right side, and it was a crossing pattern, and they got the touchdown.
Milton, back shoulder throw to the end zone, going to the turf, making the catch. Touchdown,
wow.
Tyler
May.
May.
And fell and caught it.
May had to get back to the football. It was thrown to that back shoulder intentionally, and I don't know if he slipped or if he was just making his cut, but either way, he goes down and holds on to the football. It's a 4-yard touchdown strike. Milton's 2nd passing touchdown in as many drives. And Wittenberg leads 20-3. 3:59 left in the half.
You like the fact that the defense made a play. They gave the ball to the offense, and the offense follows it up.
Extra point is up, and it is good. Brandon Goodwin remains perfect. And so, again, Coach Scobie, you have proven to be a little bit of a Nostradamus, predicting the future, or at least
you might say that,
or maybe just a great advisor, because at the top of the broadcast you said for this Wittenberg team the keys were going to be for the defense to get a couple 3-and-outs early. They did that. For the offense to convert on 3rd down, they've done that. And for the Tigers to be special again on special teams and with turnovers, and they have done that. And so it's a 21-3 Tiger lead here in the home opener.
Well, sometimes even a blind bird can find some birdseed.
I mean, your work's done here, I think.
Yeah, I'll see you. No, it's really fun to see, because we all knew, basically Jim Collins knew coming in some of the mistakes that they had made, and we talk about how they usually grow from that first game, and I think they've done a lot of it. And I'll tell you what, I'll say this about Kenyon: they've not made it easy.
They kicked this one short. They kicked this one short intentionally. The little bloop kick to the 30-yard line, and nobody for Kenyon picked it up. The Tigers come away with the football on back-to-back kickoffs.
Yep.
This time it is Ethan Adkins, I believe, who gets that ball. Maybe Benson ran it down, but it was one of those two number 28s. The Tigers, for the 2nd straight kickoff, don't have to send their defense onto the field because special teams makes a huge play.
Well, and it's funny. You watch baseball, and it was almost like, those 3 outfielders that come up on a ball, and they're not sure who. You take it, I don't want it, you take it, I got it. And then it falls. The weird part about this particular play in football is if it's kicked off like that and nobody touches it, it's anybody's ball. Wittenberg can jump on it, which they did. But it's surprising Kenyon didn't jump on that ball initially.
Milton's going to throw over the middle. He's got a man wide open. Caught. Touchdown, Tigers. Troy Tepe ran right behind the defender. Nobody followed him. And Milton has his 3rd TD pass of the day to 3 different targets. And Wittenberg is opening this one up quickly. It is now 27-3 with 3:50 left in the 2nd quarter.
Yeah, just a quick strike there. And of course, Max Milton getting very confident right now. The junior out of Carmel, Indiana. And he's This has got to be a real positive for him.
I have never seen, Coach Scobie, a team on back-to-back kickoffs recover the kick. The Tigers do it here, and so the end result is 3 touchdowns in a matter of moments, and it's now a 28-3 lead on the PAT by Brandon Goodwin.
Well, and the thing that makes it so unusual is the first touchdown, again, was the guy was coming up on the ball, and it bounced off his knee, and he kicked it about
it right back to the Tigers.
15 yards back to the Tigers, which was really kind of a wild thing to see. And then this one where the ball is kicked and nobody seemed to want to, get it. So pretty crazy. Some scores around the country, Big Ten. This is the one that's shocking. North Carolina, although North Carolina's got a great team, they beat Minnesota 31-13.
3:50 left to play in the half here. 28-3 Tigers, and the kick is away. This one will be fielded inside the 10-yard line. On the return, this is Jordan Benjamin, and he's going to be tackled out near the 25-yard line. So, we haven't said this in a bit. The Kenyon offense comes out onto the field. And so, of course, does the Tigers defense. We'll see if Kenyon can move the ball. They had some success on their scoring drive. It led to a field goal. They did that with the ground game. Chunked some yardage on runs by Drake Lewis, and then Jordan Benjamin followed suit. And so this will be Park Penrod, the junior quarterback, lining them up for the Owls. Tigers in week number 1 had 25 first downs, totaling 402 yards of offense. They're going to try and surpass those numbers here today as the first down carry gets to the 25-yard line. It was Benjamin toting the pigskin and a whole bunch of Tigers on the stop, getting up off the pile there. Tyree Smith, the freshman linebacker, got a chance to be a really good one here.
Yeah, Trey Brenninger, the linebacker, sophomore, 6'3", 230 out of Cardington, Ohio. He's made a couple plays today already.
Yeah, those are both freshmen, by the way, linebackers.
They look good.
It's not often here at Wittenberg you see freshman linebackers getting snaps and showing up on the 2 deep, but that's the case for a couple of those guys. They have great potential. The coaches are excited about each of them. Here's a carry on 2nd down and 9 to the 29. It'll be a pickup of 3.
Kenyon, after giving up those 3 scores, Scott, almost look a little gun-shy.
Yeah.
They look a little stunned. And I just got to think in this situation, I don't know, they can't afford another turnover or an interception or what have you. So it'll be interesting to see what they dial up. But I think, again, field position is so key right now.
Now, Kenyon scored 35 points in their opener. They lost 51-35 to Bluffton. Little play action. Penrod rolling right. He's going to run with it. Needs to get to the 35 for a first down and does. Angling out of bounds. Being chased by Anthony Pedro. It'll be a first down run of 6 yards. Last week, Kenyon was held to 16 points. They lost in their home opener against Kalamazoo, 48-16. So the Owls 0-2 on the year, opening the NCAC season here tonight in Springfield, and then they go to Worcester next week. So 3 of their first 4 games on the road to start the season for second-year head coach Ian Good.
Yeah, that Worcester Ohio Wesleyan game, is that tonight?
They're kicking off in just moments.
That'll be interesting.
Here's a throw, middle of the field, and it's going to be broken up, almost intercepted. Coming back to the ball was Darian Williams, the junior corner. Yeah, that game kicks at 7 o'clock. Ohio Wesleyan hosting Worcester. Battling Bishops have high hopes for their 2023 season. You've got Wabash and DePaul. You've got Denison, who hung 70 today on Oberlin. Conference at the top, 1 through 5, 1 through 6. Should be interesting. Penrod rolling right. He's going to throw, and this one is going to be intercepted. Christian Sweet comes across the top and picks it off on a pass that was intended for Livingston. And the Tigers get another turnover with 91 seconds left in the half. The Wittenberg offense will get a chance to put their 2-minute drill in motion.
Yeah, Tiger coverage was terrific there, and of course Sweet was coming from the backside. The ball was overthrown a little bit, and he was able to catch it slide before he went out of bounds. So good play by Sweet.
28-3 Wittenberg, and here comes Max Milton and the Tigers offense again. Sun hasn't set yet. We'll get a chance to check out these new, I don't know, can you call them LED lights? The new lights they put in here at Edwards Maurer Field.
I've seen them.
They're pretty neat.
They're really neat.
A lot of baseball stadiums have them now.
Yeah.
Much better lighting than the old style. Here's a handoff on first down for Reed Hall. He's going to be tackled right at the line of scrimmage. Now, I think these are the kind of lights that you can program them to match up with music and things like that. You see at baseball stadiums where these kind of lights will, the lights will dance to the music of like the fireworks show post-game.
Wow. Okay.
I don't think we're doing that here tonight, but
yeah,
it's worth noting. Melton to throw, steps up. He will fire to the sideline. It'll be caught at the 45, and did he go out of bounds or was a knee down there? We'll see. The catch was made by Dean Tate.
Well, I think we ought to have the lights go off. You know, we've got Jackson with us tonight.
Jackson Lightcap, producer extraordinaire, also a heck of a play-by-play guy.
How about that? And I would like to see the lights jump around.
They heard how much caffeine I'm drinking these days, so Jackson's actually just here in case I fall over, and he's going to jump in.
He did that for years at Fairmont.
Milton's going to throw to midfield. The catch will be made, and Malik Bowie will apply the big hit to the Kenyon defender and then go out of bounds with 55 seconds left in the first half. Tigers will have it at the Kenyon 47, so we're looking at a 2nd down and 3.
And they've got to keep people off of Milton. They need to make sure that.
Yeah, pressure coming, and then it's incomplete. He apparently got hit as the arm was going forward, so they're going to call this an incomplete pass.
Yeah, but was there anybody out there? That's
so if he was hit and the ball falls incomplete, there's no receiver in the vicinity, then the question becomes, is that grounding? Now, they dropped the flag, and it looks like they are going to call it intentional grounding, which is a loss of down.
Yeah.
So you're going to lose the yardage. So it is going to make it 3rd down.
Well, Kenyon did a nice job. They knew that Wittenberg was trying to get some crumbs there. They wanted to get some maybe an extra score quickly, and that's why I shared that about maybe them coming after, and they'd have to protect Milton. But
should be 3rd down. The referee signaled 4th, but that was 2nd and 3, I believe, right? So it should be
down.
3rd and looks like 3rd and 18.
Yeah, at least
from the Tigers' own 39. They're going to correct it here, I believe. Oh, they're letting us know there's no 10-second runoff because it's an incomplete pass. So,
I see.
So that they have to stay with the time as it is. 50 seconds left in the half. 3rd and 18 from the Tigers' own 39. So here we go. So Melton will be in the shotgun. This is a 4-receiver look. Let's see if they can get a big play here and get this ball into Kenyon territory, keep the drive alive. Melton is going to throw it deep. Down the middle of the field, he's got a man. It's going to be caught by Dean Tate. He's going to go to the house. 2nd touchdown reception of the game for Tate. On 3rd and 18, the Tigers will not be denied. They will score from 61 yards away. And it's now 34-3, the home team rolling here in Springfield.
Great connection by Milton on the Tate. And I thought possibly Coach Collins would just take a knee and kick it away and go in at halftime with the lead. But no, they went with the big throw. Kick is good.
Yep. Brandon Goodwin converts again.
35-3. But I really thought it showed a lot of confidence for Milton, and he's having a really good game. He threw it a good ways. And then Tate basically outran the safety, and the safety fell down because he couldn't stay with him.
Yeah.
And they have run that a couple times already, but that time he was able to get some distance and big touchdown. I mean, this is fun.
Yeah, this was a tight ball game in the first quarter, and early
Yeah.
into the second quarter, it was 7-3, and Wittenberg has put up 28 points in a short time here in quarter number 2. And so it's all Wittenberg now with 40 seconds left until half. Max Melton going to the air and throwing 4 touchdown passes in the half,
incredible.
2 of them to Dean Tate.
The confidence that guy is going to have.
Hayden Alcott kicks it away. Be caught, fair catch at the 12, so no return this time. And here comes the Kenyon offense. Do want to mention that we're dedicating the broadcast today to our friend Bishop Michael Cooper.
Yeah, absolutely.
The late Pastor Cooper passed away prior to the fall rolling around, and there was a moment of silence before the game here today. He was serving as the public address announcer here for these Wittenberg games for the last several years. His famous call after a Wittenberg win, "That's how I like it."
Yeah, that's right. And you know, he did the Wildcats, Springfield High School Wildcats, and they actually named the broadcast booth after him, which was really a great honor.
Handoff up the middle on first down and 10 from the 25, carrying to the 27. It's Lewis for 2 yards.
And you know, Scott, Michael, his son, was a great player here at Wittenberg.
Football and basketball.
Football and basketball, and just a terrific young man, and a great family. They really love Wittenberg, and Bishop was loved everywhere. Had his own church up in like Lima, and but he's beloved. He'll be hard to let go, but tremendous man, left a great legacy.
No doubt, he'll be missed. That is going to be the final play of the first half here in the NCAC opener, the home opener for the Wittenberg Tigers. A huge second quarter for Jim Collins' team. And as they go to the locker room at the break on the Tiger Sports Network, it's Wittenberg 35, Kenyon 3. Just about ready to start the second half here at Edwards Maurer Field in Springfield. Alongside the coach, Jim Scobie. Scott Leo with you here this evening. As the sun starts to set, we go to the second half, and Wittenberg in control, leading 35-3 after a dominating second quarter. And Coach Scobie, we talked about special teams, and boy, that made a big difference. 2 kickoff fumble recoveries, one on a misplay by the Kenyon returner, the other on a pooch kick that nobody in purple was able to jump on, and the Tigers were able to get it. So those set up scores. Wittenberg taking advantage of those Kenyon mistakes, and now they find themselves up by 35-3 at the break. And now we'll see in the second half how much of the ones for the Tigers see snaps. They will in the third quarter some, but then you start to get a little bit further into the depth chart with another game coming up next week here at home against Alma.
Yeah, and I think the Tigers, great teams, usually create, turnovers, and great teams find ways to turn those things around for their offense. And Wittenberg got some really great plays, like you said, from their special teams. But I really liked the way they responded as far as running the football and the ability of Max Milton to throw the ball. And I really, again, had not seen him play, but he's got 4 touchdowns, and he looks really, really good. And they've got a bit of a cushion, and the good part is they get the football right away.
Yeah, and Wittenberg will get a good return here on the opening kickoff of the second half. I think it was Nathan Hickman on the return. Now, there are penalty flags everywhere, littered all about the turf. And so we'll see what this is about. A hold against the Tigers. So they'll mark it off from the spot of the hold, and Wittenberg's offense will get to work here. I want to thank the sponsors this year for the Tigers' corporate partners. The athletic sponsors include Union Capital Mortgage, Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers, Buffalo Wild Wings, and Stanley Steamer, to name a few. Always thankful for their support, and the good folks from TKDS helping us with the production side here tonight on the Tiger Sports Network. Game 1 of the home schedule. Handoff to Bryce Anderson. Up the middle, racing past the first down marker all the way out to the 43. 18 yards on a first down carry for Bryce Anderson. Tigers offense trying to pick up where it left off.
Yeah, and Bryce Anderson has that special gear, and if he can get through the first line of defense, he can kind of put it in second and third, and then if he gets that creative outside run, he can really turn it up and take it to the house. Again, you like seeing Wittenberg running the football early.
Yep, Milton's going to swing it out here on a pass to May behind the line of scrimmage. First down, Tyler May up the sideline into Kenyon territory, and then wrestled out of bounds near the Owls' 43-yard line. So the Tigers will pick up 14 and move the sticks again.
Yeah, and great blocking out there by Troy Teepee, and just some good hits and staying with the blocks, which helped with the first down. Anderson
on the carry. Kind of got stood up near the line of scrimmage, but fights free, and he'll go all the way to the Kenyon 35, a gain of 8. Bryce Anderson very seldomly gets tackled by the first guy that makes contact with him, and that was the case there again.
And you always talk about how he always falls forward. You know, he's a graduate player, maybe one of the only, but he's out of Indianapolis. He got smoked right there.
Yeah, he got met behind the line of scrimmage. Nowhere to go that time for Anderson.
Run on the play by number 32, Bryce Anderson.
And he just happened to.
That was Andy Mellion who broke through the Tiger O-line and was waiting on Anderson, able to bear hug him.
That was a tough one right there. And sometimes guys are at the right place at the right time, and you just got to deal with it. So
3rd and 6 from the 39. 4 receivers set, 2 to each side. Milton will throw. Here comes a flag for pass interference. Pass was intended for Tyler May, but Kendall Weaver, the corner on coverage, got there too soon and made contact.
I actually think it was something he was doing all the way down the field, holding, because that last play actually probably Milton probably shouldn't have thrown it in there, but he had been held all the way down on that route. So
well, because he was still holding on when the ball was in the air, it becomes pass interference. But
right.
yeah, it was
pretty much holding the whole way.
It's a hard cut coming back to the ball by Tyler May, but he didn't really get a chance to make a play on the ball because he was being held up. And Anderson carries here, trying to run left, but he's going to be met there and stopped at the 35. That's a loss of 2 yards. It'll bring up 2nd down and 12. We've got 12:41 to play in the third quarter. The coach Jim Scobie, Scott Leo, Tigers and Owls, home opener, and the NCAC opener for Wittenberg. Trying to get to 2-0 on the season, rolling right. Milton. He's going to get rid of it, just throwing it away because pressure was coming. He gets hit back near midfield. Ball falls incomplete. And that was Andy Canocchio again, the defensive lineman who got there to make the contact. Milton hasn't been hit a lot in this game, but a couple of times the Owls have been able to get to him.
Yeah, and they right now, Kenyon's defense is really kind of bowing their backs a little bit. They made a couple big plays up front. And this is a key play for the Tigers. Kenyon's been coming strong with that line.
Looking to throw Milton. Fires. It'll be May again coming back to the ball. Short of the first down marker, though. Makes the catch, gets pushed out of bounds by Jalen Cardoso. He needed to get to the 23 for a first down. He's out of bounds at the 27. So it's 4th and 4. In Kenyon territory, offense stays on the field. We're coming upon 12 minutes left in the third. Yeah, they'll go ahead and play for it here in a 4-receiver set, 2 to each side. Kenyon with 4 across the front, although looks like they're bringing at least 1, maybe 2 extras here to try and get to the Tiger quarterback. Milton looking to throw. Down the right side for May, and it's going to be broken up. It was on the hands of Tyler May inside the 10-yard line, but Jalen Cardoso makes a nice play, chopping that right arm down, and he's able to knock the ball away as he and Tyler May went to the turf, and it's a turnover on down, so Kenyon gets it back.
Yeah, Tyler May made a nice down and out and then came back towards the goalpost, and he really had a good shot at him. But just great defense by Kenyon. Again, a one-on-one situation. Nobody else out there to help him. And, May wanted a flag. He felt like he was held again.
So here is Penrod, and he'll throw out towards the 35. It is caught. Going down to his knees to haul it in was Charlie Taylor, the freshman receiver. It'll be a gain of 8. And it'll bring up 2nd down and 2 for Kenyon. Kenyon with a loss tonight would fall to 0-3 on the year, and as we said, their schedule puts them on the road in 3 of their first 4 games, so they are on the road again next week as they go to Worcester. Here's a handoff up the middle. Drake Lewis straight ahead. That's a first down out to the 40, a gain of 5 yards for the junior tailback. Worcester and Ohio Wesleyan getting underway in Delaware, and the Battling Bishops off to a fast start. They scored the first 14 points of the game. Worcester has just kicked a field goal, so at the end of 1 quarter, it is Ohio Wesleyan 14 and Worcester 3. The earlier games were blowouts in the NCAC. Here's Penrod keeping it on 1st and 10. He's going to be held up and pulled down after a gain of 1 going up the middle to his own 41-yard line. They are at the half at the Butler Bowl. It's 24-14, Butler leading Wabash. And earlier today, DePaul handled Hiram 49-0. Denison blistered Oberlin 70-0. And here in this one, 35-3 Tigers. Spin it out to the left side. Penrod able to get it into the hands of Livingston, who tries to make a man miss. Gets tripped up, stumbles forward, and goes down at the Kenyon 44. A pickup of 3 yards. It'll be 3rd and 6 for the Owls. Battle of second-year head coaches here at these respective programs. Jim Collins coming back to Wittenberg, the Tiger grad. He was coaching the quarterbacks and the offense at the University of Dayton prior to coming here. Had tremendous success in Division III prior to that with Capital in the Ohio Athletic Conference. Ian Good is the second-year head coach for Kenyon. He was an assistant there for 5 years before taking the reins. Rolling right, throwing, Penrod to the far sideline. It's going to be incomplete. Falling out of bounds, trying to make a play on it, but simply running out of room was Dylan Carlquist. So it'll be 4th and 6, and here comes the punt team. Tyler May, 85-yard return in the season opener for the Tigers. That came on a punt. He had 4 returns. 3 of them totaled only 8 yards, and then the other one, he broke off an 85-yarder for a score. So that's what matters. If he can make one happen, it gets you in the headlines.
Well, and he's a guy that can, take it to the house. I mean,
yeah. And they're going to spell him here on this kick return. Actually, for the Tigers, this time it was Anthony Bailey on the return. He gets out to the 36, so not a bad return there. In fact, that's only a net of 20 yards for Kenyon after the return.
Scott, we talk a lot about, games where they're close and you got to make plays, and we all get that. But this is where a game, even though the lead was 35-3 starting the second half, you really want to play at a high level. You really want to get your guys to not look at the score and just play as hard as you can the entire second half. And that's really hard to do.
Garrett Gross on the carry will run straight into that Kenyon defense and bully his way out to the 42-yard line.
And the key to this is just you've got to go back to what your keys are. You got to focus, and you got to bring a little bit of emotion because it's hard to do.
Here's Gross, first down into Kenyon territory, and he'll be knocked down at the Owls 43. That's a 15-yard run for Garrett. And you and I have talked about this before in talking to Tigers coaches and around college football. You hear this a lot, but you only get so many Saturdays to go out and play. In Division III, it's 10 in the regular season. So even if you played every game for 4 years, that's only 40 games of your college career. And so coaches oftentimes talk about making the most of your chances, and whether it's 35-3 or whether it's 35-35 late in the game, you want to see great effort and make the most of every snap you get while you're on that field. Here is Milton throwing to the near side. May will make the catch at the 35-yard line. And it's also not a coincidence that the teams that stay sharp in games that are lopsided are also usually the teams that have the best success.
I think you're right, and I think it's been proven a lot. I mean, I know in football it is, and in many of the other sports. Just sharpening yourself every time you go out there.
Gross on the carry, got hit at the 30, spins down to the 25. This is a 10-yard run and a Tiger first down on 3rd down and 2. Gross picks up 10. Tigers on the move with 7:33 left to play in the third quarter. 35-3 Wittenberg.
And this is the kind of drive we're talking about. Is just very physical, violent running, going north to south, and just grinding it right now. And you want this to be a successful drive with a score, but you also want to punish guys and just wear a team down. This is where you can really wear them down, so that in the fourth quarter you got pretty much anything you want.
Bryce Anderson carried that one to the 22, gain of a couple. 2nd down and 8. Tigers swapping out an offensive lineman here. Oh, maybe they needed somebody. So Jim Collins is going to call a timeout. There was some confusion. Somebody must have come out of the game after the last play. And so the Tigers ran a new offensive lineman in, but one of his teammates thought he was being subbed out. So there was confusion. They only had 4 offensive linemen. They'll use one of their timeouts here before this 2nd down and 8.
I'm noticing something about Jim Collins that I'm impressed with, is that it seems like a team that you're beating by a lot, you wouldn't think those guys, the head coach, would coach a lot. He just kind of go, we're ahead, blah, blah, blah. But I have noticed that Collins has been very outspoken. He's been emotional. On that particular timeout, he's really pulled his team together. And the great teaching moments by Jim Collins in this game. And I'm impressed with that he has that ability, even though they're ahead, even though they're dominating, to really enforce and reinforce some of the stuff he talks about in practice. So that was a key time right there. And he did it, I think you and I talked about it earlier, he did it one time when they had a timeout. Or actually were not in the game. They were on the sideline.
Yeah, here's a screen pass out to the flats on the right. It's Anderson. He's going to have the first down, still on his feet, inside the 10 and down to the 9, 13 yards on the swing pass to Bryce Anderson. And it's 1st and goal, Wittenberg, clock rolling as we go under 6.5 remaining.
How about the blocking over there by Ed Bolden and Henry Birchwell and Isaac Grilliot? They did a nice job.
Give to Anderson, hit at the 5, stays on his feet to the goal line. Touchdown, Tigers. Bryce Anderson, 9 yards out, no problem for number 32. Tigers will rush this one in, and with 6:17 to go in the third, a very impressive drive for Jim Collins' Tigers to begin the half. They now lead 41-3.
Wittenberg Tiger football, that's exactly what they called up, and you saw them on that drive take it all the way down the field. Impressive, just the physicality of the Tigers right now.
Kick is away on the PAT. It is good. And so Wittenberg leads 42-3 with 6:17 to go. Third quarter in the home opener here in Springfield tonight. We've seen some lopsided games over the years. The Tigers have been on the right side of those almost always. And, we were talking about the importance of staying sharp in those type of games, but also on a night like tonight, it's going to give some guys a chance to see some snaps under the lights in front of the home crowd that haven't really had a chance to yet here at Wittenberg and at the college level.
Well, great point, Scott. And I was up on the hill where all the parents show up before the games, and it's a great powwow kind of up there where we all talk about the game and the future and how things are going. And this will be terrific for all those parents because, like you said, many of these kids are playing as freshmen, and they'll get a chance to kind of dip their toe in it, and it should be a lot of fun.
Kick is away. It'll be fielded by Benjamin at his own 13. Bounces it out. Flag comes in. He's running up the left side, 35, 40, and he'll be tackled out of bounds at the 42. So good return there from Jordan Benjamin. But there are 2 flags down, one of them from behind the return at the 20-yard line. The other one came from in front of the return, if you will, from the kicking team side, and that flag is sitting at about the 31-yard line. So referee, linesman, umpire, they will all get together and have a discussion here, which means there's probably, based on the flag location, 2 different penalties. Holding against Kenyon. It is a hold against Kenyon, and that's it. So both flags saw the same thing, and so the Owls will be backed up to their own 10-yard line. By the way, I just have one tally on my sheet here. We've only said Lords once.
Wait a minute. Let's make that clear. It's not we. It's I. You were the guy.
I thought we were a team, Coach.
Up.
I thought we won and lost together,
sometimes,
my friend.
Oh,
I see. Okay, sometimes. Okay.
But in this case, it was you. Okay.
Well,
so
I only did it after I pointed out that we had a perfect, a perfect run going.
It was
Jordan Benjamin on the carry gets to the 15. It
always happens like that.
It was very much a self-inflicted error.
I was kind of shocked. I thought you may have done it on purpose. I mean, it really did.
Yeah.
Just for the
we'll
heck
make
of
the people think maybe I did.
Shake me up, but it was like, what? That's funny.
5:30.
We're not done, but
Well, we got ways to go still here.
Because usually, be ready in the next few minutes.
Yeah, handoff Benjamin, and he's going to be stopped right at the 15-yard line. So no gain. It'll be 3rd and 5.
Yeah, it's funny because I certainly played basketball and some football, but this is so much fun to watch the freshmen. They kind of get close to the coach because you want him to see you. You want him to kind of go, have you been in the game yet? Yeah. And it's so funny how on the sidelines right now.
You know that from basketball. Slide down the bench a few seats and get a little closer.
And you lean out a little bit, and you cheer a little louder.
Yeah. See if he notices you.
Exactly.
Penrod looking to throw.
Play.
He's hit. The ball is loose inside the 5, and the Tigers say they've recovered, and they have. It was stripped and recovered by
turnover.
Connor Walls inside the Kenyon 5-yard line. Big-time play from one heck of a Tiger defensive lineman. Walls, the senior, able to get to Penrod, swatted the ball away from him as he raised his throwing arm up, and then was able to pounce on it. They're going to mark it at the Kenyon 3-yard line down near the south end zone, 1st and goal, Wittenberg.
It was a great play. Just one of those big Tiger paws kind of reached out and snapped that ball away, and it was an immediate drop, and it was, it's inside the 5-yard line. Great setup again for the Tigers.
Yep. And we do have a change here now. Miles Johnson, the backup quarterback, is in. He's a senior. 6 feet tall, 200 pounds. He will be in the game to take the snap. He will hand it off, running right, and losing yards is Reed Hall. He's going to be tackled back near the 7-yard line. Nice tackle in space by Dominic Simpson, the cornerback.
And, they lost some yards there. But, with Miles Johnson, you don't want to ask too much out of him. You really want to make sure that you kind of keep it focused on what you've been doing, running the ball, maybe a short pass to a running back coming out of the backfield. That would be a good play call to the left right here.
Snap to Johnson. Handoff to Hall. Cuts back after being corralled in the backfield. He's going to spring forward back near the line of scrimmage. The guy that got there first was Jaden Stewart, and Hall made him miss, but didn't get much after that. So it is 3rd and goal from the 8.
I know Kenyon right now kind of dropping their linebackers back. They're sort of expecting a pass. We'll see what happens.
They'll fake the handoff to Hall. Dumps off the pass inside the 10 to the 5, down to the 2-yard line. It was caught on the run by Harrison Waltz, the junior. They're going to put him down at the 2. So it's 4th and goal. Tigers will go for it. 4th and goal from the 2, 3:13 left, 3rd quarter. All Tigers in this one.
This is where you say weight room. You yell weight room because all that time you put in, linemen, you really want to be able to blow this team out inside the 5. So we'll see what Wittenberg does running the football. They need some big yards.
They give it to Hall, kind of hesitates, goes forward. He finds enough
Touchdown.
room, and he's into the end zone. Reed Hall from 2 yards away on a 4th down play will score, and Wittenberg leads 48-3. 2:52 remaining. In quarter number 3, and Coach Scobie, that's a nice job by Reed Hall because the way that play developed, if he runs right to the would-be hole, there's nothing there. But he hesitated. He kind of extended the play a little bit and waited for the blockers to do their thing, and then he found the seam. Kick is up, and it is good. PAT is through. 49-3 Tigers here late in the 3rd. So some new names and faces getting into the game, but as far as the Wittenberg offense goes, the result is the same. They score. It's set up by a turnover. Connor Walls with the fumble recovery, giving the Tigers the ball inside the 10, and on the 4th play, they're able to punch it in.
And I like the fact that Coach Jim Collins has so much confidence in his team right now. A game like this, you could easily kick the field goal, but why not make the play? And I think what made this play down in the red zone was the pass from Johnson to get it in, close to the 2-yard line, and then it was just mano-a-mano, and of course Wittenberg showed their physicality and got the touchdown.
Well, and now's the time maybe to get some guys into the game and rest them, because next week the Alma Scots come to town, and that's a good football team.
Yep.
Fair catch called for as Jordan Benjamin makes the catch down inside his 10-yard line, will not return it. That is an Alma team that's off to a 3-0 start, and they are hammering people. They beat Ohio Northern last week 52-7.
Wow.
Beat Manchester 68-0.
Jeez.
And then today they beat Anderson.
Yeah. Oh, that doesn't surprise me.
60-14.
They're awful. They're awful. Yeah.
You ever heard of Anderson University?
I wish I hadn't. 63.
Aren't you in the Hall of Fame there? Or
well,
something?
the three games of football, they've given up 60 points. So it's like it's really a basketball score.
Okay,
you
but
know what I'm saying. So I try
aren't you still like 8th in all-time rebounds or something?
Fourth.
Oh, I'm sorry, 4th.
I don't
at
know.
Anderson.
Not that I would know, but
I'm sure.
But it's weird how that conference has really kind of some of those really good. Manchester used to be really good. Anderson was decent, but Hanover's always right there. But
yep.
This is a Wittenberg team. I'm just impressed tonight. I think going in, you and I and just about everybody up here knew that it would be a tough slide for Kenyon to come in here and get a victory, but with the history and everything. But to play at this level, they've played really smart football, and their special teams have been phenomenal.
Yeah. No, there's no doubt about that. Tigers have had some big things go their way in the special teams in the first 2 games of the season. You talk about a punt return in week 1, 2 fumble kick recoveries essentially today that set up scores. That is a good sign.
Well, I've already got the highlights. I've got on offense. I think it was Gross, wasn't it, that flipped over the guy?
Yeah,
that was a great play. And then on the punt, the guy who kicked it off his knee from Kenyon. That was an unbelievable.
It was Benjamin.
It was a visual.
Yeah.
It was
really, a deep ball from Penrod. It's going to be incomplete. Down the right sideline, overthrew his intended target, who had man-on-man coverage in Wittenberg territory.
But I think if you look at like plays that would really be cool to watch, during your season, those two would make it. I mean, we've seen some unusual things, but those were pretty cool.
Alma was picked as the preseason favorites in the MIAA, Michigan Conference. Punt is away, 40-yard line, caught here on the return to the 45, spinning, and finally going down at the Wittenberg 48 is the Tiger return man. We'll call it a return of 7 yards.
And you brought up Alma
Anthony Bailey
and the MIAA. That is a very good league. I mean, they're not only good in certainly in basketball. They have some great teams, but even in football, they've always been fantastic. So to be picked, to win that conference and then to come out like they have and put up that many points, that says something. So.
Well, they were the champs in that conference last year. They made it to the second round of the playoffs. They've got a heck of a quarterback.
Yeah, that's the difference.
And so that's the team coming here next Saturday for a high noon kickoff. Here's a carry around the right end. This is going to get into Kenyon territory. Big hit is applied. The ball carrier was Marcus Randolph. Actually, that was, I believe that might have been Cleve Benson on the carry. Let's see. Again, duplicate numbers, and here's where guys start to get into the game. Now, you got to make sure you don't have 2 guys of the same number on the field at the same time. There's been a couple of times where somebody started to go into the game and they realized you had 2 wide receivers out there of the same number. You got to pull somebody off the field.
Exactly. Why? And I guess my question is, Scott, why do they do that?
Well,
there's so many of them.
You can only have 2 digits on the jersey.
Yeah.
Right? So you can only go up to 99. And you have more than 100 players on the team, so you got to duplicate the numbers. So typically you'll have an offensive player and a defensive player with the same number. Sometimes maybe a guy that's only going to play special teams, and that's where it gets a little tricky. If he's going to typically just be a special teams player, but you get far enough on the depth chart that you're going to throw him in there at on offense or defense. Now you got to
confusing. Yep.
Yeah. So usually there's a coach or somebody that's keeping track of that. Yeah, somebody's got to keep track of it. This pass out to the right side. It's going to be right off the hands of the intended receiver. That was McCann, who couldn't hold on. It'll bring up a 3rd and 7 with 25 seconds left in the third quarter.
So what you're saying is if I joined the NFL as a coach, they would pay me big money to let them know which number is going to play.
They pay somebody.
I could do
now,
that.
Now in the NFL, you don't have to worry about it because they only have the 53-man roster.
That's true.
Here's a screen pass coming back to the middle, making the catch, running with a head of steam. Earl Pope III is going to get inside the 20 to the 10, and that's where he'll be brought down. It's a 27-yard gain on the completion to Pope. And, boy, he had a spark to his run as he sets the Tigers up 1st and goal on what will be the final play of the third quarter. So we will go to the fourth here at Edwards-Maurer Field. Tigers rolling in the home opener. And on the Tigers Sports Network, it's Wittenberg 49, Kenyon 3. Tigers will have it to start the fourth quarter. It'll be a 1st down and goal from just inside the 10, and they'll hand it off. And Marcus Randolph bouncing it out to the right side. Eventually is able to work his way all the way down near the 5-yard line. He kept extending the play, stiff-arming Kenyon defenders, and then was able to cut it up and make it a gain of 5 yards. 2nd and goal from the 5. Ball on the right hash mark, 30 seconds into the fourth quarter. Handoff, Randolph, running left, touchdown, untouched. Untouched, Randolph goes in for 6 more. And so Wittenberg adds 6 more points to a offensive explosion here today. It's 55-3. And we still have 14:26 left in the game.
And that drive really was set up by Earl Pope. He had a lot of giddy-up and showed, why he's a terrific runner, senior out of Miami, Florida. He did a super job. Knows how to turn it on.
Brandon Goodwin on the PAT. And it is good. He is perfect on the day.
Uh-oh, they're playing the
8 for 8
fight song. They don't do that very often, but they're cheerleaders have got it going on. We're singing, and we got football here at Wittenberg again. I love it, and it's a great night to be out here, and we're so blessed to have great weather, and I like what I see.
Tigers in control here. As we said earlier today, DePaul handled Hiram 49-0. Denison hung 70 on Oberlin, scoring 49 in the first half. 70-0 Denison over Oberlin. They've got 10 minutes left in the third quarter in Indianapolis. It's Butler 24, Wabash 14, so the Little Giants hanging around.
That's a tough team in Butler. They're really good.
Tigers played them tough, lost to them 2 years, played them twice. 1 AA non-scholarship, Butler. This kick is going to bounce at the 10, and then the return man falls down to get it. That, again, was Jordan Benjamin, who's really had a tough time on these kicks.
Yeah, I would think that Kenyon's going to go back home and watch a lot of tape, the special
On
teams
kickoff returns?
Kickoff returns.
Oh, boy.
That and maybe some punt returns, but it's just been, awful. Just the stuff they've had to deal with, and just they're sliding, they're dropping balls, they're not getting to balls. It's just been a real folly, kind of watching them go through that.
I want to say the 6-yard line is where they've got the marker down.
Yeah.
I think that's where they're going to put the ball. They were actually deciding whether or not the kickoff was out of bounds, but it's the right call. He touched it first.
Yep.
And so it will be, looks like it's going to be at the 7-yard line with 14:22 to play. 5 minutes left in the first half in Delaware, and Ohio Wesleyan leads Worcester 28-3.
That's amazing.
Bishops have a chance to be really good again this year, and it'll make for some fun scoreboard watching on Saturdays around the NCAC. Handoff up the middle. That's Benjamin. Straight ahead to the 12-yard line, a pickup of 5.
Straight ahead blocking, and again, that's been probably their best offense, just running it straight up the middle. Did get a text, Scott, from a Rhonda Brown out in Oregon, big Tiger fan.
Watching from all over the place. We always like to hear from Tiger faithful who are watching from near and afar. Here's a handoff to Benjamin right up the middle, and he gets stuffed. Jordan Benjamin was met behind the line of scrimmage and gets dropped for a loss. That was Nate Berger who got him.
And again, some of these second and third stringers, wanting to make a name for themselves. And I crack up because Jim Collins, again, he's got all these guys that are crowded around him. They won in the game, and it's just so much fun to watch. They just seem to slide down into that area and trying to be noticed so that maybe Coach will put him in the game.
4 receivers set here for Kenyon on a 3rd down and 8 from their own 8-yard line. Whistles as the ball was being snapped. Timeout, Kenyon. They didn't like something they saw over there, so he
they forget about what they're designed to be out there for in their coverage.
Yep.
And you give up a lot of big plays.
Penrod kept it that time on a read option, went around the left
He's
end.
short.
Yeah, he went into his slide too soon. He needed to get to the 36.
Yep.
He's going to be down at the 38, and I think he had room instead of going into the slide if he goes forward.
Yep.
He's got the first down, but
I agree.
Instead it'll be 4th and 2. Now, they're going to play for it anyway.
They have to, yeah.
4th and 2 at the Wittenberg 38, 7:19 left in the game.
There's no way they could kick a field goal, so, I mean, it's
too far for a field goal, and why punt down by 46?
That's right.
Penrod in the gun here. 2 receivers right, 1 to the left, and he'll hand it off. Breaking free of a tackler is Drake Lewis, and he's going to get the first down. He gets to the Tigers' 33. That's a gain of 5.
Well, the Tigers at that time tried to arm tackle him, and they were trying to strip the football. And on the initial hit, you know, if they could have wrapped him there and taken him down, it would have been Wittenberg's ball. But they tried to rip it away, and he was able to gain about 5 yards on that. So first down for Kenyon with 6:41 to go. Down 56-10 here at Edwards-Maurer Field.
Penrod calls for the football, gives to Drake Lewis, and he's going to be stopped. Tried to bounce it out to the right, tackled at the line of scrimmage. 2nd down and 10. Want to thank all of our Wittenberg Athletic sponsors here on the Tiger Sports Network, most notably Union Capital Mortgage, Raising Cane's, Buffalo Wild Wings, Stanley Steamer. Generous support of those corporate partners make a lot of this possible, and we are thankful for their support here on the broadcast today on the Tiger Sports Network, partnering with TKDS. You can watch the game on the TKDS Sports app as well as on the Tigers Sports Network YouTube channel. 2nd down and 10, and they'll give it left side. Down to the 30 goes the ball carrier. That was Benjamin. It'll be 3rd down, 7 to go, 5:39 remaining. Clock melting away here on a Saturday night in Springfield for the home opener.
Just some scores here late. Florida upsetting Tennessee 19-7. Tennessee 11th in the nation.
Here's a pass over the middle. Penrod is able to complete it to Livingston. We mentioned it's been a quiet game for David Livingston, but he does catch the ball here, and he gets to the 20. That's a gain of 10. That's a first down.
Michigan State with a new coach.
Mark D'Antonio is filling in, isn't he?
He's like an assistant.
Okay.
To the new coach.
Got it.
Washington came in, and they're still playing, but number 8, Washington is ahead 41-0, and I think everybody knew that probably would happen.
I know it's not a football score, but Jackson Lightcap swears the Reds are going to make the playoffs as they try and get that 3rd and final wild card spot. He swears by it. He says, he said they're going to make it happen down the stretch. They're tied with the Mets 1-1 at the end of 3 innings tonight at Citi Field.
Yeah, he lives for the Reds, and I noticed that right away. And I don't know why, but, what are you going to do? I do think they have a chance, maybe 1% to win that wild card, but we'll see.
They're in a virtual tie right now with who? Arizona and Miami, I believe. Handoff. Lewis spins away from a man, gets some forward momentum inside the 15, down to the 13.
Great run by Drake Lewis, and he showed you a little spin move. I'll tell you what, Kenyon's got a couple. Their running backs are really fun to watch, and they're going to get better.
Yeah.
Junior Drake Lewis, and then the freshman Jordan Benjamin. They've got 2 really good running backs that they could build around. So the future, is going to be bright for them.
3rd down and 3. They'll throw it. Caught. First down inside the 10. And the Owls will be knocking on the door about the 3-yard line as Penrod was able to fire that one complete to Brendan Comerford, the freshman.
Rushed by number
Another score, number 1 Georgia beats South Carolina 24-14, and they were down in that game a lot.
3 receivers left. Penrod hands it off up the middle into the end zone. Touchdown, Owls. Drake Lewis from 3 yards away. And so Kenyon scores with 2:55 left, and that'll make it Wittenberg 56, Kenyon 16. So Kenyon puts together a scoring drive there. Taking advantage of the short field. Kick is up, and it is good from the left-footed Tyler Bell. And so it's 56-17 here in the final 3 minutes.
Keep giving you scores here. Alabama pulls one out. It was 3-3 all the way through the third quarter against South Florida, and they beat South Florida 17-3. Ohio State dominated Western Kentucky. They won 63-10. Florida State ranked 3rd in the nation. They barely beat Boston College 31-29. That was a close one.
So Wittenberg will get it back and try to push this clock to triple zeros. Go to 2-0 on the year, 1-0 in NCAC play. A win 2 weeks ago over Dubuque, 28-27, a game where the Tigers trailed most of the day. Very different story here in this one. A big second quarter allowed the Tigers to pull away for good. They're at halftime now in Delaware, and Ohio Wesleyan leads Worcester 35-6. Butler has extended their lead over Wabash 33-14. Butler with the fourth quarter getting underway.
Well, you brought it up earlier. Wittenberg, they were picked 5th in the league. That's a really...
It's first.
A lot of people have been surprised about that.
Yep, it's a first since they've been doing those polls, I think.
I think you're right.
Here's a new quarterback in for the Tigers, and a carry around the left end for a first down out to the 42. He said Alex Short.
He's not on the list here tonight.
Let me see. We'll see if we can track him down.
7?
Here he is, Alex Short. He's junior. He's listed as a wide receiver.
Yeah, I was going to say he has
6'5", 225 from West Bloomfield, Michigan.
He's got that tall, slender look. He does look like a wide receiver, but he looks like he could really run the football. And he showed you on the first play that he had a little giddy up here.
Lincoln Molenkoff got that carry, running back, sophomore. From Colonel Crawford High School in Bucyrus. Short, and he is going to be spun down. The quarterback Short at the line of scrimmage. It'll be 3rd and 5 coming up.
That must have been a called play because he did not look at all downfield. It wasn't like a broken play for a quarterback to make plays, but he kind of either that or he just wasn't sure on the play. It looked confusing because of his inability to make a play.
Tigers have Alma coming in next week, so it was Dubuque and Alma as the non-conference games. Here's Short on a keeper. It was a read option, and he'll call his own number, and I think he has the first down. He does. That should just about do it. They might have. Looks like they're going to have to snap it one more time. But next year, when you look ahead to the non-conference schedule, Wittenberg's slated for a home-and-home series with Baldwin Wallace.
How about that?
That'll bring back
OAC.
Some memories for a lot of folks that played here years ago.
Rush by number 20, Lincoln
Yeah, this
Molenkoff on the carry. That no, it won't be the final play. They're going to have to snap it one more time. There's a 5-second difference between the game clock and the play clock.
Yeah, this quarterback Short, I really like just how he looks as far as he's smooth, the stuff that he does. And I know he's coming off like third or fourth quarterback, but he's impressive looking.
So there's Molenkoff on the carry, and that will do it. So 56-17, Wittenberg defeats Kenyon here in the home opener and the North Coast Athletic Conference opener. Tigers are 2-0 on the season. The Owls fall to 0-3. Kenyon will go to Worcester next Saturday, while Coach Scobie, you and I will be right back here at Edwards-Maurer Field.
Let's Tiger up.
High noon next Saturday as Wittenberg takes on unbeaten Alma, the preseason favorites out of the Michigan Intercollegiate Athletic Association. So for our TKDS Sports and Tiger Sports Network crews, for Kevin Fowler, for Jackson Lightcap, for the coach Jim Scobie, this is Scott Leo saying thanks so much for being with us. Wittenberg defeats Kenyon here in Springfield by the final of 56-17.